Alright guys, so I'm skipping like the first 3.5 minutes of this replay or so because I want to show you how I retreat on Serene Coast. And Serene Coast, man, like this map took me so long to understand. I still have a lot of trouble with this map. It's just more open than you think, and the way the map is designed, like the way the train tracks are and everything, and just the outline of the map, like I don't know how I can explain this to you guys, but where these rocks are and all, like it's so hard in my opinion to get shots really going like anywhere on this map. I always feel like people are behind ridge lines and stuff, but if you understand how this map works, you can actually sit here on along the train tracks and poke up. You just have to be mindful of people in the mid, and you can hold down the mid like this and just keep poking and try and spot people in this area. I prefer to come over to this bush line from the start of the battle almost all the time, and also over here from the enemy team. But once you kind of get how this works, like you see how the ridge line is, like it's just so tricky to kind of like maneuver in these areas and find the right shots without being overexposed. And that's why it took me so long to understand this. But you can use this area, knock down this tree, and that'll give you some decent shots. And then try and not venture out here until the game really progresses and you know what's going on, because out here you're actually more exposed than you think and people can YOLO you and all, and just be really careful out there, man. But yeah, here's an overview, guys. Like just look at the way this map is kind of designed here. It's just really tricky, man. You have to be really careful on this map. So I want to show you kind of how I retreated here and how I'm kind of trying to find the right angles to counter these guys. And again, this is the problem with this map. It's like over here, it's like you're out too far. Over here, you end up getting stuck in this corner when people come around. And then on this hill, like there's not enough bushes. Like you can sit right here maybe. Like I try and sit here and try and find the shots, but it's just the way the terrain works on Serene Coast is so freaking tricky and challenging. Like I still don't get it, man. Like I've explained it to you guys how I understand it, but it's just really tricky and challenging to understand. So even though we started like 3.5 minutes into this replay, I want to show you guys how I retreated here and kind of how I don't want to say I necessarily won the game, but I timed everything perfectly, and you're going to see that here. We're able to get a shot into the Lorraine 40T, and we're just being very cautious about how we're playing this, right? I want to stay back. I don't want to lose any more HP. We've already lost two. We got hit by the LT-432 twice, so we've lost a decent chunk of our HP already, and I don't want to lose any more. So what I'd like to do is come back to this little corner, and it kind of gives you some protection with this little ridge line, this little like rock formation here. And you just have to be careful you don't get hit by people out here if you're taking shots at people like the Viper here. Now watch how many heat shells I'm going to try and put into the lower plate of this Viper, man. And like, I don't know about these tanks, guys. I feel like they're a little too OP in my opinion. Like, you guys have your own opinions, but like the amount of freaking heat shells I tried putting into this guy's lower plate and I can't pen him. I mean, the heats are what, 200 something, 250 millimeters of pen, right? And the 0.31 dispersion on this tank, and I am just slamming freaking heat shells into this guy's lower plate and I can't do anything to him. So I feel like they should just, I don't know, look at that, man. Look at that. Look at his lower plate. So I feel like they should just make this like a little easier to pen. I'm not saying it has to be like a crazy change, but like this is ridiculous, man. It took me like 7 shots just to get one to pen into the Viper's lower plate from some 300 meters away or something. He's not that far away. But then again, they have the T95, right, at tier 9, and I mean, that thing's like impossible to pen from a distance. But I don't know, guys. I'm just so sick of them putting so many hold-down vehicles with such little, you know, weak spots into the game. Because you can ridge poke with the Viper like easily, man. Like there's just no weak points, right? I just wish they would make it so that you can at least have a little bit easier of a time hitting weak points if their entire lower plate is exposed. Like his whole tank is exposed, and it took me like 7 shots just to pen one shot, right? So Skoda's here. I'm trying to get a shot to his cap there, and I time it perfectly, right? So I'm able to try and get a shot into him. I'm now coming around the corner, and I'm able to get away from this guy just in like the perfect amount of time, right? So he can't like punish me here. And what I do is actually spin around here. I make sure I'm not lit, and I'm going to keep the heat loaded because this is this tank has a lot of armor, right? And watch now, I can kind of play around with this guy. I can hold this line because I have a tree and I have a bush here, and I think I'm running CVS, and now we're able to kind of shoot his lower plate there, right? I'm just making sure I'm not lit. I'm watching the LT going after the Oho, making sure I'm not going to get hit from behind as well. I'm asking for help from the Borisk. I'm going to poke this one more time, see if I can clean up the Skoda. The T-28 prototype appears, looking for one in his cheek there or whatever. I think I get into the hatch or something, and that goes through as well, and now Skoda is trying to push in. And I'm going to, back up, see if I can get the shot into the Skoda. Boar is able to clean him up, and now we can go after the T-28. T-28's getting cleaned up by the Borisk as well, it looks like. And that's how you can kind of hold this line. That's all I really wanted to show you guys, is how you can use this little area right here. It's K4 area, and then retreat back to where your tank destroyers normally sit and just try and hold this corner. You're going to get into games, guys, where you're going to get like 2 more shots off and get steamrolled. Like, it's happened to me a million times, but it will happen, right? It will happen to you, but hopefully this helps you out to at least get a couple more shots off if your team isn't going to pull it back, kind of like we did here. The Viper goes down, I'm able to get one into a man, but yeah, did you see how many shots we put into this guy's lower plate? And we might have missed a number of them, but I know we at least hit like 2 of them down here, and we still couldn't even pen the lower plate with the heat. And I get that heat has, there's a problem with heat where it needs really flat armor, but I can't pen him with my ABCRs because they're not enough pen, right, from that distance. So, like, the lower plate doesn't look like it's that angled either, but this is the reality of the game, man. They keep putting these really freaking OP, hold down tanks into the game, and yeah, man, like, I think they're okay. I'm not saying it's awful for the game, guys, but I just wish they would start putting more tanks into the game that don't require you to aim with gold rounds into this tiny little lower plate, man. Like, put a little hatch on this thing or something. Like, look how there's just no weak spot at all. Even from like 100 meters away, there's nothing to shoot, right, on the top of the tank. So, like, even on the Lova, man, there's a tiny little hatch that people have been able to hit before when I'm brawling, right? It just doesn't look like you even have that option here. There's just nothing, right? So there you go. It's kind of like the BZ-176, right? We'll take a look at the emplates, guys. Not much here. 1847 damage, 398 assist. I just wanted to show you this spot briefly, man, and try and help you guys on Serene Coast when you're retreating from this spawn. So it's nothing special. 1847 damage. We had a kill. And, we made 10K here. 15 shots fired. 8 pens. Like, all these times it didn't pen was against the stupid Viper. But, again, guys, like, you have to realize you're also in a light tank. I know that the penetration isn't great, but I feel like 250. Like, 250 pen, man. Like, I feel like that should be enough. But, hey, we did hit 1 shot, right? So, that's all, guys. That's all for this one. Hope it helps you on Serene Coast. I'll catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.